And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Monday, February 2nd. Yeah, we're starting off the month of February on a pretty quiet note, but on the chilly side as well. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And Bridgette, what a weekend. We picked up a little bit of light snow, and other than that, though, not too bad, and we're trying to catch up on precip in terms of snowfall. We ended up January below normal, which doesn't surprise many people. It was a colder than normal month, not by much, only about a degree. And snowfall, obviously, we were well below normal. We only had, I believe it was a little over 5.5 inches of snow for the entire month, while a major snow system affected the southeast, where parts of North Carolina they saw more snow in this one storm than we have the whole winter. So just kind of a flip-flop crazy weather pattern that we're in.
I think that right now we're going to see a lot of folks getting ready for, this next stormy cycle of the LRC. But those folks in the Mid-South saw quite a bit of snow. Actually, there were a number of poultry barns that collapsed due to snow load because they're just not prepared for this like we might be.
Yeah, no doubt. And now they're going to be bracing with record cold across parts of Florida this week. So obviously that might have some effect on the citrus crop and whatnot. But while we are going to experience some warmer weather that will be coming our way as we head into later this week. But it's a cold one today, and that will continue to be the case throughout the day. A lot of clouds. There is some light snow on radar approaching one batch from Lisbon to about Hankinson, moving east-southeastward. Another batch of light snow stretching from Cooperstown through Carrington up north towards Devil's Lake Basin. That's all moving southeast. So we could see a few snow showers in and around the FM area. We're not expecting much, a dusting, just enough maybe to coat up some of the roadways later this afternoon and for your evening rush. So keep that in the back of your mind if you're going to be out and about today. Highs today between 10 and 15 with a north wind on the light side, then down to 5 to 10 below tonight, and a little more sunshine tomorrow. But I think we'll see more clouds and sun with highs in the mid-teens, and then we'll finally warm things up into the 20s on Wednesday. Upper 30s, it looks like, on Thursday. A nice thaw, at least for a day on Thursday. And then a cold front swings through, dropping our temperatures back into the 20s for Friday and for Saturday. It's a quiet week of weather this week, but again, this month is going to be, as we've been advertising, stormier than the month of January, and we're going to start seeing effects of that, I believe, by later next week. I've had a few emails saying what happened to the storm that was pegged for this weekend. The LRC calendar did have the potential for a major impact storm this weekend. That has not materialized, and that's something that we'll be talking with Gary about. Gary will be on our show on Wednesday. Bridgette, you are gone. You'll be at Agronomy on Ice, enjoying yourself there. And we will have Gary on, so if you have any questions, you might want to get those ready ahead of time. So you have those ready for Gary on Wednesday. That's one of the questions that I've gotten from a few emailers, like, what about this storm for this upcoming weekend? So don't be mad. Sometimes that happens, but we'll be talking about that and what the rest of the winter looks like as well this coming Wednesday.
Excellent. Well, looking forward to hearing much more about what's going to be happening for the week. We kind of have this little break right now where we had the snowfall over the weekend. Things have gotten better. We did see quite a number of little flurries and even some icy roads over the weekend. That's cleared up. The last icy stretch, I think, was west of Devil's Lake on Highway 2. So things look a lot better right now for most folks out there on the highway. Actually, this is going to make the roads nice if you're planning on hauling grain today and you want to get some of that to town. Now's a good chance to get that done if the roads are open, because there's a lot of events happening this week. Tomorrow will be the North Dakota Soybean Growers and Corn Growers event, the Corn and Soy Expo. That will be out at the fairgrounds in West Fargo. They start at 7:30 tomorrow morning in the Butler building, and their program has early riser sessions. They've got railroad, market outlooks, a trade show, and so much more. And that show will wrap up out there by about 4:30 tomorrow. Wednesday is Agronomy on Ice. That's going to be held at Devil's Lake off of Woodland Resort. We're getting houses and so forth started to set down there tonight and certainly all day tomorrow. lots of sponsors rolling in, and even just businesses in general, I should mention. I had a call this morning from Bismarck. Northwest Tire is going to be opening up a facility in Devil's Lake, and they wanted to make sure to get a spot on the ice. And our guest today, who's joining us for the drainage difference, that's Blake Sunde with Landmark Companies. I think Blake might be there. I'll check my messages when we go to our livestock updates before I come back and visit with you. I'll let you know. Blake might be able to already give us an ice report. Last I saw, it's about 25 inches of ice up on the lake. So many things going on. Do not forget that if you are a student who is interested in being one of our Cass County Farm Bureau Assistant Ag Directors, I'm taking applications. You can send those to me via email, ag@flagfamily.com. I am more than happy to start planning ahead for the coming year with students who want to be on air with Dean and I for a day. We'd love to have you. Additionally, if you have questions while we're visiting today, you can reach us on the JLA Insurance phone line. That number is 701-293-9000. There are a lot of changes coming with crop insurance for 2026. The sign-up deadline is going to be March 16th, and you're going to want to talk to your crop insurance agents beforehand. And if you're looking for somebody to help you, that would be JLA Crop Insurance. Nate Thorsrud is a farmer just like you, and he can help you wade through this stronger benefits for beginning farmers, higher premium subsidies, coverage points, and so much more. You can reach Nate at JLA Insurance, and you can call us at 701-293-9000. The folks from Superior Grain Equipment happily power our inboxes. So again, mine is ag@flagfamily.com. Dean is weather@flagfamily.com, because Superior Grain Storage and drying and handling solutions can be yours if you go to superiorbins.com. Whew, that's a lot.
That's a
going
lot.
on, for the day. Yeah. Oh, and Lighthouse Commodities. I had messages from them. They're doing meetings all over the state this week as well. And so Lighthouse Commodities makes sure that you can watch what we're up to on our live stream, and which will be helpful today when we have the drainage difference with Blake Sunde. But then tomorrow, we're going to be joined by Essentia Health for our Fit Farmer Focus. And we're going to talk about heart health as well as CPR, and going to be some demos. So if you've not ever used our live stream before, brought to you by Lighthouse Commodities, these are your days to sign up and do it. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Acres TV to check those things out. So looking forward to hearing more and seeing what's going to be going on throughout the whole week. So that's just a little bit of a breath for me right now. We will talk about some headlines. Maybe I can even do one of those right now. In fact, the North Dakota Stockmen's Association wanted to make sure that there was a reminder to beef producers about cost share programs. There's one called the Meadowlark Initiative Rangeland Legacy Program. That's a lot. If you have questions, you can just email me and I'll help you with it. But this program is actually administered by the Game and Fish Department, and it really helps to incentivize the long-term protection of some of our native grassland habitat, also promotes biodiversity, and really supports Western North Dakota's ranching operations. With this cost share through the Meadowlark Initiative, it's available for native grass and tame grass plantings. You can look at prescribed grazing, the fencing that goes along with it, water development like wells and pipelines, and even prescribed burning, as well as wetland restoration and enhancements. Now, this initiative is really there to help provide growers a one-stop shop for programs and practices through a variety of private, state, and federal entities. So if you're looking for more information, I have all the contact information for the Meadowlark Initiative, and I can happily share that with you if you want to send me that email, ag@flagfamily.com. We'll be able to get that in your hands if that's something you're looking forward to doing. And many are, right? As we see land improvements being taken on, and they are, more expensive than someone might have thought, a cost share program like this can be extremely helpful, especially if you need to be bringing up new water sources, or if you're looking at changing into a rotational grazing situation and making sure that you can in fact cover all the costs of it. Well, some of those costs can be covered if you sell livestock, and we're going to get the livestock market report from the American Ag Network next, so we can hear what's happening in beef animals and others for the day. Hopefully things are still going strong. We'll be back to have the drainage difference with Blake Sunde of Landmark Companies after this.
All right, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:21 in the afternoon. And we're going to, before we go to our guest, Blake, real quick, we're going to take Wade. Wade's on line one. Wade, you got a question for us today. What's going on?
Yeah, did the groundhog see its shadow today, or what does the LRC say?
Good question. Well, regardless whether the groundhog saw his shadow, we always have 6 more weeks of winter anyways. But yes, the groundhog did see his shadow, so that means, according to him, according to that little furry rodent, we will have 6 more weeks of winter. And this is something, Wade, we'll be talking with Gary about on Wednesday, so you want to tune in then.
Okay.
There's going to be a quick...
How come they don't use a girl groundhog? How come it's always a boy one?
That's a valid question. That's a good question.
They're afraid of accuracy, Wade.
That's probably why. Thanks, Wade.
Oh, excellent. All right. Well, we appreciate Wade giving us a call, and he did so on the JLA Insurance phone line of 701-293-9000. We have our guest with us today, Blake Sunde, and Blake is with Landmark Companies. He's here for the drainage difference. Hey, Blake, how are things in your neck of the woods today?
Good, busy. We're trying to get ready for agronomy on ice and excited to see everybody up there. And yeah, enjoying the little bit break in the sub-zero temps as well.
No kidding. And I tell you what, Landmark is a long time sponsor at Agronomy on Ice, and y'all will have a pole position, so to speak, when we get there to set up today. Looking forward to seeing you. And I know that there's a lot of folks that are going to want to stop by and ask great questions with you, and just to see what's going on in the world of return on investment. And that was one of the topics we wanted to talk about today, because really people think about tiling as being this incredible cash outlay. And I don't want to short anybody, it's expensive, but the return on investment, Blake, it's got to be tremendous.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's one of the biggest benefits that we hear from our customers is that, they can get in their fields, anywhere from a couple days to a couple weeks earlier in the spring, which extends their growing season. And anytime you can extend your growing season, you should end up with some better yields in your crops. And then also being able to get in and harvest those crops when they need to, not when Mother Nature lets you, obviously helps with that as well. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see your benefits in your bushels, obviously, and then not drowning out and stuff like that.
And Blake, in terms of, springtime and everything that's coming around the corner, we're all starting to think about planting season and everything. And how about tilling? Does that have anything to do with land values?
Tilling. What do you mean, Dean?
No, tiling, not tilling. Tiling.
I thought it said tilling. I'm sorry.
Nope.
My. See, I got to put my glasses on here. I've got the notes, and sorry, Blake. Tiling, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, honestly, you spend whatever. Let's just use an $800 to $1,400 an acre, depending on the complexity of your project, and you're immediately going to see that. Value of your land go up by that exact number, if not more. If it's a field that we're tiling that the farmer's only able to farm and produce on, say, 50% of its 65, 75 out of his 150 acre field, and now he can farm corner to corner on his 150 acre field. Obviously, he's going to see a lot bigger jump in his land value than if you're already farming it, but you're increasing your productivity by, say, 20%.
There's one thing that I think not everybody thinks about, and when I drive by fields and I see alkali spots, first of all, there's a difference between alkali and salinity, but tiling can play a part in both of those soil situations, or is it better for one versus the other? What do you think there, Blake, and the difference between those two?
Yeah, I think you're going to see your benefits in both of them. One thing that people got to remember is that we can't flush out, so to speak, your alkalinity or your salinity in your soil without moisture, right? So if we get a couple dry years in a row, it's going to take a little bit longer to help benefit that ground, if that makes sense. If we get some real wet years in a row where our tile systems are running a lot, then we can flush that ground or that system out a lot faster. So yeah, there's ground that I've seen that hasn't grown a crop for, say, a quarter of a mile off the road before you see a good crop, and now that crop is consistent all the way to the road after 5 years of being tiled.
That is so huge. You've got this land that you've paid for, you want higher productivity out of it. And when you've got these spots where nothing wants to grow, you're right. Some of that tiling can help in those situations, making that a much better piece of land. And the same goes for planting. You want to, or applying herbicides and so forth. If you have fields that are consistently wet, poor drainage, that's a loss of ROI, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can't get in there to plant it when you need to, same with spraying, right? Like now all of a sudden your weeds get out of control, or you're hiring an aircraft or something to spray it because it's too wet to get across it with your traditional sprayer. At the end of the day, that all costs dollars.
Well, more dollars than someone wants to have to lose, especially when we're looking at tighter margins all the time. You know, when you see folks coming to any of the winter trade show events, including, again, we'll see you this Wednesday at Agronomy on Ice, what are some of the questions that people want to ask of you right now, Blake? What is really on their minds when it comes to potential tiling projects?
Oh, that that's a very wide question, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, we get all kinds of questions, from is it worth it to come out and tile this 20-acre spot that I just don't like that's always drowning out to, my field's really rolly and it's not square, and what's it going to cost me to tile something like that? Yeah, we lots of questions. Lift station questions. We install lift stations. We service them. We do maintenance and repair on them. So the questions are can be far and wide. But yeah, there's lots of different questions about the tiling industry and what works best for them.
When you say you not only install the lift stations, but do some repair and so forth, um, quick question about that. So it's not just the sale, right? You don't just do the installation and walk away. Is there a warranty on those lift stations? Do folks call you for years afterwards if there's a concern, if they want to change something, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So like we offer a 5-year warranty on our installation. So if something we put in came unhooked after 2 years and it looks like it's didn't get hooked up properly in the first place, or whatever the case may be, we offer a 5-year warranty. We'll come out and we'll look at it. We'll assess the situation and get it fixed for you. As far as the lift station, you got your pump in there, which is one of your main expenses, and then your VFD, which is a variable frequency drive. That when you bring the power in, that's starting the lift station and maintaining the speed of the pump based off of the speed of the water coming into the lift station, if that makes sense. So instead of just firing up 0 to 100 every single time it needs to run, it might only fire up at 30% and only run at 30%, and it can run for an hour like that, if that makes sense, versus on and off, cycling because it at a full speed. So those are your two main things in your lift station that can give you issues or cause problems. And then obviously the transducer, which is basically like your float that tells it when to kick on and when to shut off. Those are your three things that can be an issue, but to be honest, they're very, very reliable. And I mean, I've seen some that have been installed for 10, 15 years that have never been touched.
Are you seeing a change over in more folks putting power on those lift stations versus having to run to a water or to a power source at some point? Kind of what's the breakout of the solar versus wired? And are you seeing a change in either direction?
Yeah, in the recent years, there has been more where we're quoting customers a solar system to run their lift station with a battery pack, and that's going to give them X amount of time, depending on how much batteries we obviously put in without power. But honestly, the biggest push on those subjects would the solar would be, I'm 2.5 miles, let's say, from power, and it's really my only option. By the time I run power all the way over here, I could spend $150,000. And then it becomes either a solar system, or a lot of times we'll set up a generator, and they'll have a
Sure.
500-gallon diesel tank there, and the generator will start when the tiling or the lift station calls for power, and when it doesn't call for power, the generator will stop. So we have those options as well.
Excellent. That is powerful to know. Literally powerful. Did you get that? Generators? Did you hear me? Oh, come on, you guys. I'm funnier than that. Okay. So, Blake, thanks for joining us today. Excited to see you here on the ice. And to everyone else, the news is up next, but Dean and I have weather and headlines after that. See you in a moment. Are you making sure that all of your security needs are met? You might be doing that by locking the door. You keep an eye on the mailbox so nobody's getting things out of it. But are you checking on your technology? And if you're not, it's time to go to techsupport.farm. Check out the fence check assessment to find out what you could be doing differently or better. In fact, next week, Tuesday, that's February 10th, Chris Sherman, who is Tech Support Farm, is going to be hosting a webinar it's a free webinar. It's 1 hour long. You can sign up on his website and you can hear more about what are the things you should be looking out for. Can you be more careful? And above all, what are some of the things that Tech Support Farm might be able to do for you? Again, that seminar is free. It's 11 o'clock next Tuesday, February the 10th.
Now,
All right.
Now, Bridgette,
Go ahead.
we got an email that came in and said, ask Bridgette. And they said, have her be honest. I said, well, she's always honest. Is there more shenanigans? Is there more work? Or is there more fun? I guess fun and shenanigans would go together at Agronomy on Ice.
Okay, so I'm going to get there tonight. And tomorrow, I mentioned this to Addison over the break. I'm in charge while my partners have to be at a seminar for a little while. I'm in charge of making sure the sponsor houses get placed in the right place and that they're far enough apart. Now, considering I'm someone who doesn't park in her garage well, that will be the work part of this.
Okay.
So tomorrow I will be eyeball deep in my high visibility yellow vest, making sure people are in all the right places where they're supposed to be, reminding them to get their pickups off the ice, because when people want to walk around, if you have all these vehicles parked around a house, it feels like, oh, they're kind of busy. They don't want us to stop. But no, really, they do. So I am the pickup patrol, getting pickups off the ice. Wednesday is when all the action begins. And we start out at 8 o'clock in the morning with coffee and caramel rolls in the Ag Mafia Fish House. It's followed by just things happening all throughout the day. People are stopping to visit. They are dropping lines in holes. Again, we're on about 25 to 27 inches of ice, so they get to do some fishing. There are folks that are stopping to talk about everything from biological products, corn seed, tires for your tractors or combine or your pickups. There are going to be folks there that represent the drain tile that we were just talking about with Blake at Landmark. We have GK Technology there, who does a majority of the mapping in this region for all of us. There's a lot of food. There's plenty to drink. There are porta potties right there on the ice. And even Tuesday night, after I get all these houses in place, I get a moment to relax because Summit Agro is hosting a happy hour from 6 to 8 o'clock at the Woodland Resort.
What about a big fish fry after all the, with any of the fish that are caught?
I would love to say that people are going to walk away with a huge amount of fish, but let's just say you can easily be distracted. Lalamond, as a company that's going to be there, they bring seed treatments and so forth into the farm realm. Lalamond is working with a new app called Angler, Angler, and I bet I can find a picture of this to send to Addison for our live stream. Angler is running a virtual fishing tournament, and I couldn't tell you the day that they start or stop yet, but it's over Agronomy on Ice. You can fish anywhere in the U.S. and mark your fish on this fishing tournament. The grand prize that Angler is giving away, again, that's Angler, and at Agronomy on Ice, our portion of the tournament is sponsored by Lalamond. Angler's giving away a Cybertruck at the end of this.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Total Farm Marketing is holding an event on Tuesday afternoon and evening for their customers at the casino, and then they'll be joining us on Wednesday. There's a lot. It's fun. It's shenanigans. It's work. When I come home on Thursday, I'm going to be tired. There's no way around it. I'm going to be kind of wore out. But it's a great week.
Good deal.
To that.
Good deal. How many people come up there for that?
I wish I had a great way to count, right? Because we don't have a registration. You don't come in a specific walkway, etc. You just show up. You might be there part of the day or the whole day. But last year we had 38 houses on the ice, and every time I opened a door, there was 10 or 12 people in a house. So if we do the math, we're looking 350, 400 people are in attendance for a one-day event.
That's great.
There's a lot going on.
That's great.
There's some. I had somebody message me last night. They're bringing a house. They're thinking they're just going to sleep in it out on the ice because most houses you can. But I know there's lots of folks that are staying at the resorts. In fact, there's a new resort up there that has a 10% discount for agronomy on ice participants, so you can rent a place as well. It's pretty neat.
Wow, nice. And it kind of it breaks up the winter a little bit too.
Totally. And I've got to look for Anglers fishing app Cybertruck so we can show that grand prize to people on our live stream. They'll like seeing that. I'll get that for Addison. So in the meantime, I have a little bit of a guessing game for everybody to check out, and that is this. When you guys think about who are the largest private landowners in the United States, who comes to mind? Again, this is private landowners, not businesses, not foundations. Like the largest landowner overall is the Mormon Church. But who might be an individual?
Well, first thing, but corporations don't count. First thing I went to would be Bill Gates, but that would be corporations. Nope. So
correct. So not him.
Boy, Addison. Boy, is it a name?
Wrong fellow.
Is it a name we would recognize?
Potentially. So, and I know I'm saying his name wrong. Stan Kroenig, and he is the owner of the LA Rams. He also owns, he also owns the Denver Nuggets, the Colorado Avalanche, the Colorado Rapids, which is MLS, and the English Premier League's Arsenal FC. And that's some of the sports franchises that he owns. But he purchased back in December nearly 1 million acres in New Mexico, and that just put him into the number 1 spot. Was Ted Turner, who went to number 4, and now LA Rams owner has moved ahead of that. So there's been quite a few things that that he has done as far as purchasing land. He also owns the largest continuously operating ranch in Wyoming at this point, at the Q Creek. And in Montana, he has the Broken O Ranch. He's also got the Wagoneer Ranch in Texas. So there's quite a few pieces of property. Now, it's not saying that he's taking these and making changes to them, taking out of production or anything like that. I think at this point, he's going to continue to run those like they normally have. He just has the ownership of the overall land. Others that are in that top 10 include the King Ranch, which is in South Texas. They have over 900,000 acres. That actually started in the mid-1800s by Richard King. He was a steamboat captain in South Texas, and over the course of 160 years, he led some of the first cattle drives, also brought the Santa Gertrudis and the Santa Cruz breeds to the area, and he bred quarter horses as well as champion thoroughbreds, and currently now has founded the King Ranch Institute for Ranch Management along with Texas A&M. The Buck family is number 6. They own 1.3 million acres in Maine, and that company can trace their fortunes back to Dr. Peter Buck. He was a nuclear physicist who co-founded the Subway sandwich chain, and that's all timberland that they have in Maine.
Wow.
The Reed family, who was established as a Washington pioneer and government official, and then went on to be a logger and more in Washington state. They own 1.6 million acres of timberland in the West. Ted Turner's at number 4. He's got 2 million acres and the largest bison herd in the world. So it's kind of interesting to hear who's got what. But yes, a lot of our sports franchise business owners are the folks that are looking for places to invest. With Mr. Kroenke, the owner of the Los Angeles Rams, it's interesting to note he is the son-in-law of Bud Walton, who co-founded Walmart with his brother Sam. So that's where some of the land has come in and taken place.
All right. And Bridgette, we've got Jeff on line 1. He's got a question for you. Jeff, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just caught this in the middle of this segment here or whatever. So you said something about kids can go fishing somewhere?
There is an online fishing tournament. It's a virtual, and it can be done across the U.S. Yep, it's being held or being done by the app called Angler, Angler. And Angler is also going to have this going on currently in this week. There is a company called Lalamond who is sponsoring those who are going to be at the Agronomy on Ice event on Wednesday at They're being sponsored with their registration fees being paid by Lalamon to participate. At the end of this
Okay.
fishing tournament, and you're going to want to check this out on the app, the giveaway is a Cybertruck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where
So
I didn't write down the website, but can I find it on this somewhere?
you can, if you've got a smartphone, you can check it out in your app store, and it's under Angler, AINGLER.
AINGLER, not ANGLER.
Yep, Angler with an
Okay,
A
got it.
and an
So
I.
then where's
So,
this
yep,
agronomy thing going on?
Agronomy on Ice will be at Devil's Lake,
Yeah.
and it's going to be right offshore from Woodland Resort.
When is this?
Wednesday, it's February 4th.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's what I needed to know. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Well, it's time for break. So when we come back, we're gonna do a recap again of what the weather looks like this week. There's a little snow on radar currently, just off to the northwest of the FM area. I'll let you know how that will affect our area for the rest of the day. Coming up right after the break. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:54 in the afternoon. Going to do a quick recap of weather here. We do have some light snow on radar right now, stretching from just south of Carrington to just north of Valley City, and a little bit of activity just starting to enter Cass County. Most of this is going to stay west of the river, although areas down around Fergus over towards Alex might get a little bit of light snow out of this. Maybe DL might see a few flurries, but just a few snow showers for the rest of the afternoon into the evening hours. Some areas could get a quick dusting out of this that could slicken up some of those roadways as we head towards evening rush. So just keep that in the back of your mind on your commute home. We could see some scattered slippery spots. Again, we're looking at dusting to a couple tenths of an inch. So nothing really to worry about, but again, just enough to kind of dust things up. And then the rest of the week looks dry outside of a flurry or two tomorrow possible. Temperatures still in the teens tomorrow. And then we're warming things up the rest of the week. 20s Wednesday, 30s on Thursday, and then a cold front will drop us back with windy conditions on Friday back into the 20s. But for the most part, a pretty quiet week weather-wise, even into the weekend. But I do see signs again, and according to the LRC, we're just getting or about ready to get into the stormy part of the LRC cycle, starting next week and lasting for about 10 days or so. So fingers crossed we can play a little catch up here for our snow lovers, because we're about a good foot below normal for up to this point, this time in the season. So I know a lot of people would like a little more snow, a little more moisture around here, and that's one of the things we'll be talking with Gary about on Wednesday when Gary Lezak, the founder of the LRC, will be joining us, as Bridgette will be out at agronomy on ice. So Gary was nice enough to be able to join us on Wednesday, and we'll be going over what the rest of the winter looks like. We'll probably take a peek into spring of what spring looks like. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow. Now, does that mean what does the LRC have to say about an early spring? And we've kind of been touting it. It's going to be a pretty quick switch into spring, especially during the month of April. We're going to have a quick flip. So if you're a fan of winter, it's more than likely going to end a little bit early this year. Although, really, have we had much of winter? This really almost is a repeat of last winter. Not quite as dry, but it's not far off. So let's hope. And one of the things I'm going to talk to Gary about is it's been dry all the way up and down the spine of the Rockies. Record low precip in terms of snowfall, all the way up into the Canadian Rockies. And the one thing I already had an emailer question, how is this going to translate into the spring and summer in terms of wildfires? Remember the wildfire smoke we had the last few summers because of the dry weather in Western Canada? Is that something we're going to have to deal with again this coming summer? Is that going to affect our sky conditions and just overall temperatures when we get these smoky days? Is that going to be a problem again this summer with the dry conditions they've had out west? So,
well, depends if everybody cleans up their underbrush.
That's right. Exactly. That's a good point.
That's part of it.
Yep.
Part of it. You said Punxsutawney Phil was looking at a shadow today. Maybe we take Wade's advice, and next year it's Punxsutawney Polly. Maybe she gives us a different answer.
Hey, usually the female's a lot more accurate, anyways. So I think that's the way we ought to go.
we'll see what they decide to tell us. And isn't it Punxsutawney, New York? I think that does that every year. Yeah.
Yep.
Something like that. All right. Again, for those who are heading to events this week, don't forget that tomorrow is North Dakota Corn and Soybean Growers. That is their expo. It is out at the fairgrounds in the Butler Building. They have 7:30 a.m. meetings start times, as well as will go throughout the day. Clinton Griffins from Ag Day, he's going to be the MC out there. Clinton's a great guy, and I hope you guys enjoy the opportunity to hang around, visit with those folks from the corn and soybean growers and councils, because they bring fabulous information to the region, and I think that'll be a really nice expo this year. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Bridgette, myself here on Weather and Ag in Focus. Don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show. It's coming up next.